Early on the morning of December 4th, 1808, two British warships appeared on the horizon. It was a clear day, the sun shined bright. Even the small ships of the Royal Trinity could be seen from far away. The two British ships began maneuvers to overtake the Royal Trinity. The three ships had the wind at their backs, but it was pushing them towards the enemy. As the British ships turned, Baptiste remembered something one of the French 40 often talked about, a British sea tactic called line formation. They were hoping to turn their cannons broadside to the Royal Trinity. If the British completed the turn, their powerful cannon would tear through the tiny ships. This is when Baptiste completed what came to be known as the Swan Maneuver. Using flag signals, he had the three ships to line up side by side facing the British. As they approached the British, the Horus made the first turn. The Horus turned hard to port, firing the starboard cannons. Because the cannons were at a backward angle, they could maintain fire as they turned. This attack damaged the rigging of the closest British ship, causing it to slow its turn. The second British ship lost its wind trying to avoid a collision with their comrades. They became still in the water. As the Horus completed its turn, the Isis opened fire with their front cannon on the first British ship. That further damaged the rigging and masts of the first British ship. That ship wasn't able to complete its turn, and the second British ship was too close to its partner to risk firing. In that moment, the Osiris completed a starboard turn while firing their port side cannon. They struck low, broadside, and did little damage. The Isis attempted a quick turn port side, but they got too close. The cannon fire from the first British ship damaged the rear cannon of the Isis. The Horus fired again on the first British ship and destroyed the mast. The Osiris fired, and each ship continued to circle in and out of firing range, targeting only the damaged British ship. The Royal Trinity kept a position with the damaged ship between them and the other British ship. Once the first British ship was too damaged to move, the Royal Trinity moved away. The undamaged British ship would not leave their comrades undefended to chase the Royal Trinity. Here is part of a journal entry written by a British seaman on the disabled ship.
At first sight of these tiny ships, the captain and lieutenants laugh. After the last crash of cannon fire cracked the mast, the captain's face was as red as his coat. We in the crew felt like a dog bested by a pack of fleas.
This battle at sea lasted until the night of the 4th. The Royal Trinity was still 9 days' sail from Italy, and the cargo was due by the 13th of December. Jonathan Baptiste was proud of his men, but disappointed himself. Both Captain Salvatore and Captain Sharon performed their maneuvers perfectly. Because Baptiste moved too aggressively, it cost the lives of 10 men and damaged his rear cannon. Thanks to advice from pirates, Jonathan Baptiste was able to find a route that avoided contact with the British Navy. He especially avoided the Bay of Biscay after hearing the British destroyed a few of Napoleon's ships that were headed to the Caribbean. Fortunately, the British took for granted that no one would risk a route through the Strait of Gibraltar. The Royal Trinity made it through, and Jonathan Baptiste informed Napoleon of his route past the British. The Royal Trinity pulled into the port in Italy on the 15th of December, 1808. They were 2 days late, but they had done what no one else could. The French soldiers in Italy began unloading the moment the ships were docked. The cotton and leather were needed for uniforms. Because of the upcoming battles, Napoleon was impressed that they made it through. He allowed Baptiste and his crew to stay at one of his villas. Napoleon and Jonathan Baptiste became like brothers. It is said the two men were at each other's side every waking minute. This was a very important alliance. Napoleon had repairs done to all three ships of the Royal Trinity. These two men brought many victories to each other. They helped to bring order to a world at war. They also brought liberty to people on multiple continents. Baptiste had a lot of respect for Napoleon and his civil code.